Hi, Facebook community. This is Courtney Harris with Courtney Harris Coaching, and I am a child-centered and teen life coach. And if you don't know what a child-centered and teen life coach is or does, don't worry, you are tuning into the right video. So today I'm going to be going over some facts, and I'm going to be talking about some of the questions that I've received from parents along my journey, and I will go into the answers to those. So today is a time or an opportunity for you to ask me some further questions that you might have about the work that I do with children and families. And it's a little bit of an informational session for you today to hear a bit more about what the work looks like. So again, I'll present some information, but if you have further questions, don't be shy about asking. You can comment below, comment in this video, and if you're on the live, I'll try to answer today. And if you're watching later, I will comment back to you. Okay, so the first question that I wanted to answer is, what is different about coaching and therapy? So I've heard this question from a couple of parents, or actually I've heard it quite frequently, and my short answer is that I do not do clinical work, so I am not a therapist, but with coaching, what I do is a bit more like counseling or advising, and there's a strong element of mentorship. So I partner with my clients. That means I partner with the teens that I work with and the tweens that I work with, but I also partner with their parents. So in a coaching relationship, I like to think about it as a very fluid cycle. There are weekly sessions, but there's also an ongoing communication through email or through text or Marco Polo app. And so there's a constant feedback. There's a constant ability to have feedback and to be able to problem solve along the way. So it's not isolated to the 1-hour sessions each week. So for me, that's something that's a very big difference between therapy and coaching in the ways that I provide my services, is that it's ongoing, it's feedback, it's about it's ongoing growth process, and it's about tools. So it's about learning tools and strategies that can be taken into life and different elements of life, recycled and reused to help my teen and tween clients build their confidence, build their voice, and to thrive and not just survive. So that's where the difference is, where it's not clinical. We're not focused on mental health issues per se. Of course, I do have some clients that are receiving mental health services, that are working with a therapist or a psychiatrist. And so I'm very, very happy to even partner with those specialists if that comes up, but I am not that specialist. So if you have further questions about that one, let me know. But again, what I do love about the coaching relationship is that it's a big focus on tools and strategies that again can be taken from one scenario and used into another scenario. So it's really the personal development piece that's a focus of coaching. Okay, so looking at my notes, the second question is, am I a parenting coach? So I get the question, are you a parenting coach? The answer is yes and no. So when I say that I'm a child-centered and teen life coach, that means that the child or the teen is at the center of the work that I do. So it's really the child or the teen that we're always going to keep in mind. And that's the lens that I use to look at the relationship or to look at the work that I'm doing with a family. And so I think of child or teen first. Then, that even means when I'm on my first call with a parent, I'm talking with a parent, but I'm coming back to the child, what's going on with the child. And that's the lens that I use as a child-centered and teen life coach. But the work that I do is also very integral. The parent's role is very integral to the work that I'm doing. So I do have weekly or even sometimes bi-weekly sessions with the parents while I'm working on a weekly basis with the teens. Now, that is the way that my 12-week program is typically set up, where I do have weekly sessions with my teen or tween and then bi-weekly with the parent. However, it's kind of on a spectrum. So I might actually start and have the first couple of sessions dedicated to just the parent, and then we might transition into that role of working with the child and then working with the parent bi-weekly. So it's very flexible, fluid. It is an individualized program. So while I have there's a general set of outcomes and there are typical protocols that I use, it's adaptable to what each family needs. So I, yes, am a parenting coach while also being a coach for teens and tweens. So it's really in the partnership. And the reason that's important to me is that if I teach something to your teen or tween, I want you to have that skill and that tool as well so that you can integrate that into the home, because the goal is ultimately for me to not be working with your teen and tween and for that relationship and that communication to be built between the family members. And so I, of course, am giving away the tools and giving away the strategies so that it can be something that the teen and tween and the parent use without my support. That's, of course, the goal, is independence. So parenting coach, yes and no. I do work primarily with young people, but also the parent support piece is hugely important to me. And I love partnering with parents to continue to make their family life more peaceful and more easy for them. More peaceful and easier for them. The next question that I get sometimes is, what do the sessions actually look like? So on a call with a teen, we usually have a central activity. So based on what I learned about the teen in the last session and what their general outcomes are, what the goals are that they have for themselves, we'll have an activity that we'll focus on during part of the session. There will also be some role playing or some scenario problem solving. So we'll look at a scenario from their life experience or even one that I've created as a practice, and we'll problem solve that. And again, we're looking to grow confidence. We're looking to overcome anxiety. We're looking to grow autonomy, independence, their voice. And so the activities and then the role playing or the scenarios are going to be focused on exactly the skills that that child needs or that teen needs in order to reach their goals and their outcomes. So it's very tailored to where they are in their individual story, in their individual life. The other thing is, it's a time for them to bring up something new. It's a time for them to, maybe they've developed a new insight over the last week. So it's a time for them to share that insight with me, to share that insight with themselves, right? To name that. Because if we don't name our growth or we don't name our struggles, it is very difficult to grow. And so the coaching session is that intentional time and intentional space for the teen or tween to bring up exactly what's on their mind, what they're thinking, and how they're struggling, how they're growing, how they're developing. So when we name them, that's where the power is. That's how we continue to make the growth more routine and an integrated part of our lives. And until we name the challenge, we can't face it in order to grow from it. So those are my 3 big facts for today. So again, if you're just tuning in, I talked about the difference between coaching and therapy. I talked about whether or not I am a parenting coach. I am and I am not. And then I also talked about what a typical session looks like with a teen or tween. So those are my 3 big facts for today. Comment below with any further questions that you have about those. And then if you have some additional questions that you'd like me to answer about my work as a child-centered and teen life coach, drop those below and I will be in touch with you. So this is my day 16 of my Facebook Live challenge. I'll be on for 30 days, so we're just over halfway there. So I have lots of content, lots of videos that I've been sharing, so be sure to check my personal page, my business page, and if you're interested in going deeper in a dialogue, let me know and I'll send you the link for my private Facebook group for parents. All right, y'all, nice talking, and comment below with your questions.